Hello. So today we're discussing the vagus nerve as it relates to anatomy and physiology and bridging into a yoga practice. So I hear a lot of yoga teachers talk about parasympathetic stimulation while teaching yoga poses, and today I'd really like to investigate the vagus nerve in particular and how that relates to certain ways that we explore poses and breath in yoga. So the vagus nerve is a cranial nerve, number 10. It originates in the brainstem. As it comes down, it innervates the heart, the digestive tract, all of the internal organs besides the adrenal glands. And that's a big thing because the adrenal glands is responsible for your sympathetic reaction. So that's when you're fight or flight, you're feeling nervous, different kinds of things in the adrenic kind of area when things get heightened and overstimulated. In yoga, we usually try to combat that by finding deep breath and calming and relaxing ways to be a part and understand your body. So in the anatomical way, because it innervates the heart and because it innervates the digestive system, can be a great thing to focus on to get through depression, to get through irritable bowel syndrome, to get through high blood pressure. So a couple of poses that really exercise this I'd like to show you today. Being that the vagus nerve runs through this entire center, it goes through your laryngeal area as well as down into the heart and then down into the stomach. So today we'll be exploring breath and pranayama, the inhales and the exhalations and how that stimulates that area, as well as mantra. So when you use the vibration of your voice, it helps to stimulate that area and it feels very relaxing within the heart and with the body. There's actually been studies of finding heart rate being lowered to a kind of more steady and easeful place around this. As well, we'll be looking at shoulder stand, which is an inverted posture. It brings a little bit of compression around this area. And as you inhale and exhale invertedly, your digestive system and all of that sensory information that comes from down in the organs and in the heart kind of brings it back up to the brain and lets the brain know that you can really relax at this moment in time. So this is my subject, Annie. She'll be demonstrating tonight. So we'll begin by playing with our breath. So there's a yogic breath, a 3-part breath, that kind of divides the thoracic area into 3 parts so you can really pay attention to each of the inhalations and the exhalations. So bringing it into the vagus nerve, we want to exercise the down and in, and that compression allows you to really feel kind of your space in that full deep exhalation. So let's begin. So Annie coming to a nice comfortable seat. So we have our hips elevated here, and that helps to just bring off any little stress around the spine, kind of keeping your spine nice and elevated so you can really feel into the front center of the body. Good, so nice deep inhale through the nostrils, and as you exhale, slowly release. Good, a nice deep inhale through the nostrils once again. As you feel your chest and your heart expand, and as you exhale, start to feel the frontal ribs coming down and in. Good. You might feel a little bit of a pelvic bone tucking up and in to really feel the navel point coming down. Good. Inhale. And exhale, let your shoulders release down. Good, and as she's doing this, she'll be finding Ujjayi breath, which is that ha sound in the back of the throat that begins this communication with the vagus nerve. Good, and exhale, just slowly release. So the sensory information, take another inhale breath. Almost heightened on the inhale, and exhale, fully deepening, bringing the frontal ribs down and in. And now we'll move into 3-part yogic breath. So we'll take our left hand on the lower part of the abdomen and our right hand over the heart. And this is just to kind of address those 2 places. So if you're going to imagine that our torso was divided into 3 parts, the lower part would be the lower abdomen down here and kind of signifying your root, your seat, and all of the intestinal kind of stomach areas and tracts. And then we'll address the rib cage area as the second part. So you could kind of imagine that in your mind. So you take an inhale into that space, you're going to feel this opening here at the bottom of the lungs. And then your third part will be all the way up at the top, and this will be addressed by your right hand. And as this extension moves and opens up, you really want to elevate this part of your body. So you can see that she'll have extension in the spine. And we'll take a full exhale breath down and in. So let's begin with an inhale into the lower part of the belly. Okay, take a nice deep exhale. And inhale into the lower part of the belly. 1/3 of your full breath. Take a pause. Inhale 2/3, imagining the rib cage. And pause. Inhale all the way up to the top. Inhale fully extending all the way up. Take a pause. And exhale all of your breath down and away. So much that you feel that emptying. Feel that compression down and in. Good. Inhale 1/3 into the lower part of the belly. And pause. Inhale 2/3, imagining the rib cage expand. And pause. Inhale all the way up to the top, full extension of the lungs. And exhale. Down and away. Good. One more. Inhale, 1/3. And pause. Inhale 2/3. And pause. Inhale all the way up to the top. Inhale, inhale, inhale. And exhale all down and away. Good. The second part of this exercise will be a full inhale, and then you'll exhale each of the thirds, starting from the heart. Okay, so nice deep inhale here. Big, 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 big inhale. As big as inhale as you've taken all day. Exhale 1/3 from the heart space. Pause. Exhale 2/3 around the rib cage. Pause. Exhale down into the bottom of the abdomen. Take an extra sip of air out. Pause. Really feel those ribs down and in. Good. Take a nice deep inhale. And even more. Take another sip. All right, exhale the front, the top, heart space, pause. Good, exhale 2/3. Pause. Exhale down into the lower part of the belly. Pause. Take another sip of air out. Feel it in, hold it there. Inhale one more. Exhale 1/3 from the heart. Pause. Exhale 2/3. Pause. Exhale all the way down into the lower part of the belly, maybe even feeling the pubic bone tilting slightly forward. Extra sip out. And inhale, breathe easy, so you can bring your hands to your knees. And just kind of settle into the space that you've created through inhale and exhaling breath. So in terms of the vagus nerve, each space that we've taken from the lower abdomen to the middle of the body up to the heart allows that address of each of those places, and that's innervated by the vagus nerve. So you're kind of making a track along each of the pieces and each of the parts. So the more that you practice and you get that capacity to open the muscles around it, the valves and the vessels start to open and expand, and that full exhalation takes that parasympathetic reaction. the muscarinic receptors, everything kind of turns on to allow everything to kind of settle in and to relax. Annie, do you feel relaxed?
I do.
Well, that works. So we'll kind of add on to this piece by adding mantra. So as I've discussed before, there's also a piece where it runs down through and along the pharyngeal area. So when you add a nice vibrational tone of voice, that also kind of helps that vibration to kind of sense through the innervations into the heart and into the stomach. So right from here, let's go ahead and bring our hands on either side of the hips. Kind of reaching through the arms and fingertips nice and wide down towards the floor. With an inhale, getting a full capacity inhalation of the lungs all the way up, arms up, stretch up. Good, and let's just take a breath here as we exhale and bring our hands through heart center. So this is almost like a physical kind of way of finding that grounding. Go with an inhale, let's do it one more. All the way up, pull up, stretch up, feel the sides of the rib cage, and this would be a stimulatory space, and then exhale. Good, finding your relaxing space. On this next one, as we rise up, we're going to take our exhale down with an Om. Good, so release hands down by the side. With an inhale, rise up, pull up, stretch up. And exhale. And exhale. Breathe easy and kind of sit with that for a moment. And release. Annie, I'm going to spring this on you, but would you like to say how maybe that made you feel?
Yeah, it's exactly when the noise actually came in. There is something that really resonates through, I noticed through the top half of my body. There was a grounding that I really felt in that. So, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. All right, so that completes the first pose, Sukhasana with pranayama and mantra. So you can try that to find some relaxation in your day. And the next demonstration we're going to do is shoulder stand. So we're going to remove the pillows from the mat. And it's really important in this pose, especially for beginners, to be aware of the compression along the neck that can happen in this posture. So it's recommended to find a blanket, and it'll just give you like maybe a 1/4 of an inch of height below the neck, and that just helps to keep any compression off the cervical spine. So I'm going to have Annie lay down and bring her shoulders to the top of the blanket. And then you're actually going to move up just a little bit so the top of your shoulders will touch the top of the blanket. So a little bit more. Good. And so you'll see that her neck has a little bit of space between her cervical spine and the mat. And so just to kind of give a brief overview of this posture, our benefits here are to reverse the blood flow. And as we talk about the vagus nerve, what's going to happen is, a term in yoga is called Jalandhara Bandha. And I think applicable in anatomy would be almost just like a compression around the neck and around the spine. So there's a lot of cervical plexuses up here along with the vagus nerve, but more particularly that one place and that one space, being that it innervates all the rest of the organs, you get a little bit of compression around here, almost like it's a valve. Then when you kind of release from that place and from that state, that parasympathetic activation will stay with you. So right from here, she's going to bring her knees up over her hips, yep. Bring her hands flat down, so that's kind of a base, and to be really safe around this pose. With an inhale, just bringing the hips up just a little bit, bending the elbows and bringing the hands to the sacrum. You can lift up even higher and start to walk your elbows underneath. Good, nice, awesome. Great, so this is candlestick pose, and this is for beginners, for the first kind of realm of your Shavasana, or sorry, Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. Good, and right from here you can kind of already see, you know, the reversal of the blood flow, kind of letting the head be below the heart also has a lot of calming effects. So in terms of the vagus nerve, because it's innervating the belly and the heart, you're kind of allowing the blood pressure to kind of soften and to not be so intense on the body when you're in this position. Good. And so another thing is digestive kind of qualities here. They kind of aren't so pulled by gravity in this position, so they're able to kind of sense a different kind of flow within that. And so right from here, Annie, just kind of walking your elbows in a little bit more. You can start to bring your knees up over. Yes, awesome. And so her toes are going to be right in line with her nose. And this starts to stimulate this area of her body. And then this compression, as you can see right here, as her chin's tucked in towards her chest, that's what's really going to activate the stimulation point. There's actually a lot of studies on VNS, vagus nerve stimulation, that incorporates kind of these squeezings of these areas. Kind of brings in this vagal tone around the body because all of these organs are kind of feeling this activation from this pose. And again, we have a little bit of space. I can slide my finger underneath her neck to make sure that her neck isn't compressed on the floor. And if we do that, then we're going to kind of just kind of erase all of the benefits here if it's kind of pinched off. Good. So take a nice inhale. And so again, incorporating the breath in all of the postures. So the more inhalations where the lungs expand and the heart and everything, and the deep, deep exhalations, that Ujjayi breath, will again find vagal tone around her whole body. Good. So take a couple more breaths. Nice deep inhale. And really bring it into your heart and the outsides of your ribs. And as you exhale, kind of finding that middle line center of the body. And you kind of maybe hear her breath here. Okay, a nice inhale. And exhale. Good, nice. One more. And exhale. And to slowly come out of it, you can just sort of kind of bring your knees forward, walk it down, be nice and gently as you kind of roll through. Nice. You can give your knees a nice hug, kind of wrap it all in. And again, as much compression as we can bring into all those organs, it's almost going to massage them with every breath. So it was really helpful. Nice. Again, a little demonstration of Jalandhara Bandha lock around the throat and the cervical plexus. All right, how do you feel?
Very good.
Awesome. Yeah. Great. So again, vagal tone, parasympathetic activation can actually be explored anatomically and through yoga postures. So with that, this video is complete. Thank you so much. Thanks, Annie.
Thanks.